You're not the kind of person who stands out by being loud. You stand out because you know when it's time to stay silent. There's something real and different about you. Not the kind of different people show off, but something deep that's always made you feel like you don't fully belong anywhere. And you've stopped trying to. That's not a problem. That's how you were made. You're hard to figure out, and that confuses people. You're not here to put on a show, chase likes, or agree just to keep the peace. You question things, yourself included. You walk into a room and read everyone before they even speak. If something feels fake, you pull away. You don't feel the need to explain why. That's not being distant, it's being honest. While others need noise, approval, or attention, you're drawn to quiet things most people ignore. Not because you think you're better, but because you see what others miss. That's what makes you a Sigma female. You're not a trend or some label someone made up. It's how you've always been, and it can't be copied or faked. This video isn't about surface-level traits. It's about the rare things you like, even the messy or misunderstood parts of you that suddenly make sense when you hear them out loud. So stick around. This one's made for people like you. Here's the truth. You can wear designer clothes, speak well, smell great, and look confident. But if your energy feels off, a Sigma female will sense it right away, even before you say a word. You could be dressed like success itself, but if you're pretending to be sure of yourself, she'll notice. And once she does, she's already checked out. Quietly. She won't call you out. She won't make it a big deal. But she's mentally gone. That's because to her, energy speaks louder than words. She listens with her instincts, not just her ears. She doesn't care how powerful you look. She wants to feel that inner calm, the kind of strength that doesn't need to show off. If she sees you hiding behind flashy things or fake confidence, she's not impressed. She's tired. What grabs her attention? Real people. People who are okay with who they are. People who don't perform or fake charm. Just honesty. Her soul responds to presence, not appearance. That's why she doesn't fall for trends or surface-level charm. She sees through it all and silently asks, "What are you hiding?" If the answer is a lot, she's already emotionally gone. So if she seems unimpressed by fancy things or big talk, this is why. She's not being rude. She just knows what real strength looks like, and it never needs a costume. She chooses genuine energy over appearance every single time. One of the fastest ways to lose a Sigma female's interest. Try to lead her like she's lost or broken. She's not. She never was. And if you show up thinking she needs saving or direction, she'll quietly show you the exit. It's not that she dislikes leadership. In fact, she respects it. But only when it's real and natural, not forced. What she truly admires are people who lead themselves. Those who know who they are, act with purpose, and don't drag others just to feel important. That kind of self-awareness. She notices it. But if you try to control her, tell her what to do, or act like you know better, she's out. No big goodbye, just silence. Because trying to control her doesn't make you strong. It shows you don't understand her at all. She's been making hard choices her whole life. She's survived things no one else even saw. So when someone assumes she needs a guide, she doesn't feel supported. She feels underestimated. The people who earn her respect don't lead her. They walk beside her. They're not threatened by her freedom. They support it. They have their own kind of strength. They don't try to shrink her light. They shine with their own. She doesn't want someone to lead her. She wants someone who understands her. Big difference. So if you're trying to connect with her, don't bring control. Bring respect. Don't try to impress her. Be real. Lead yourself. Be steady. Be honest. Be someone who wants to walk with her, not ahead of her. That's who she lets in. That's who stays. Everyone else? Just background noise. A Sigma woman can write a long message, pour out all her thoughts and feelings into it, and then never send it. Not because she's scared to speak, but because she doesn't always need to. Sometimes just writing it is enough. She might type every truth, every emotion, every word that could shake the silence, then read it again, and quietly delete it. She knows that not every thought needs to be shared. Some things don't have to be said out loud to be real. People often think that if you don't reply, defend yourself, or speak up, you're weak. But to her, holding back can be even stronger. She doesn't speak just to prove a point. She speaks when it matters. She doesn't chase closure or force people to understand her side. If something feels unfinished, she'll finish it within herself. She's not looking to explain herself to those who only want to argue or twist her words. So she stays quiet, not because she has nothing to say, but because she already found peace inside. To others, it may look like she vanished without a word, but really, she said what she needed to say, to herself. And sometimes that's the kind of closure that matters most. Most people avoid broken-down buildings or empty streets, but the Sigma female, that's where she feels calm. Cracked walls, dusty rooms, and silence that stretches on. Those places don't scare her. They speak to her. Why? Because those quiet, hidden spaces feel like parts of her that no one sees. She's been through hard times too, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and she didn't fall apart. She changed, quietly, just like those places. To others, it's just an abandoned house. To her, it's a story, a memory, a place that once held life. While most people need crowds or picture-perfect beauty, she finds comfort in the quiet, in places that were left behind but still hold meaning. When she walks through an old hallway or sees a forgotten sign, she doesn't see damage. She sees strength that doesn't need to be loud. That's how she lives. Calm, deep, and true to herself. These spaces remind her that silence has its own kind of power, that even in what's forgotten, there's beauty. She doesn't go there to run away. She goes to feel grounded again, to remember she doesn't have to belong to the world to feel whole. Sigma females don't always follow the usual path. One day, she might leave a perfect job or relationship. The next, she's starting something risky that no one else understands. But she doesn't care if people think she's strange. She's not looking for approval. She's chasing what feels right. Other people might think she's being difficult. They ask, why would she quit that? Or why doesn't she just follow the rules? But she's not here to blend in. She's here to live fully awake. And if that means being different, so be it. When everyone's chasing fame or money, she's chasing peace. When people rush, she slows down. If something feels wrong deep inside, she walks away, even if it looks good on paper. She's not being stubborn. She's just being honest with herself. She doesn't need to be understood. She just needs to stay true to who she is. And even if it means starting over or taking a road no one else is walking, she's okay with that. Because her life is hers, not a show for others. So yeah, her choices might not make sense to everyone, but they make sense to her. And that's what matters. She's not here to follow the crowd. She's here to follow her truth. And deep down, she wouldn't live any other way. When a Sigma woman turns off her phone and disappears for a few days, it doesn't mean she's falling apart. It means she's finding her balance again. We live in a world that expects people to be available all the time, replying to texts, checking every notification, staying online non-stop. But she chooses to step back. She doesn't make a big deal about it. No goodbye post, no warning, just quiet. But that silence, it's not empty. It's powerful. She understands something most people ignore. It's not healthy to let everyone into your mind all the time. She isn't running away from her life. She's charging her energy to return stronger. And to truly hear her own thoughts, she has to block out everyone else's. People might worry. Why didn't you answer? Are you okay? But the truth is, she's not doing it to scare anyone or prove a point. She's doing it to breathe, to think clearly, and to reconnect with herself, without the noise of other people's demands or opinions. It's not about being rude or ignoring others. It's about caring for herself. She knows her energy is limited. If she keeps giving and giving without a break, she starts to lose herself. So when things feel too noisy, even online, she steps away with no guilt. For her, going quiet isn't a breakdown, it's a reset, a way to clean out the clutter and come back clearer and stronger. She returns when she's ready, not when someone expects her to. She doesn't owe the world constant updates. What she owes herself is peace. A Sigma woman doesn't hold on to friendships just because they're old. She doesn't stay because of shared history. She stays when the connection still feels right. If a friendship no longer feels real, kind, or supportive, she walks away. She doesn't cause drama or hate the person. She simply notices when things change, when talks feel empty, when the effort is one-sided, when it no longer feels like love, but like work. That's her sign the friendship is over. Many people stay friends just because they've known someone for years. We've been friends since school, they say. She helped me once. But a Sigma woman doesn't think that way. She knows some connections end, and forcing them to stay is like drinking spoiled milk just to avoid throwing it away. It doesn't help. It hurts. She cares more about how deep a friendship is, not how long it's lasted. She would rather have a few close friends than a crowd of people who don't truly care. And when someone's energy turns fake, heavy, or empty, she won't beg them to stay. She won't pretend to feel more than she does. She'll always respect what the friendship once meant, but she won't fake feelings that are no longer there. People grow, and sometimes they grow apart. She's okay with that. She sees it as a sign of growth, not failure. She's not cold-hearted. She's just clear about what she needs. She doesn't hold on to expired friendships. She thanks them for the good times and walks away when they no longer feed her soul. Sigma women often have a quiet interest in things most people ignore, like conspiracy theories. No, she doesn't believe every wild story out there, and she's not wearing a tinfoil hat. Her interest comes from wanting to understand deeper truths. She looks at what's behind the curtain, what people aren't saying out loud. Most people hear a simple explanation and move on, but not her. If something feels strange, she looks deeper. She asks questions. She searches for what's really going on. That's why she finds conspiracy theories interesting, not because they're all true, but because they show that things aren't always as they seem. And that fits perfectly with how she sees the world. People, rules, and systems are often hiding something. She doesn't enjoy chaos. She wants to understand the truth inside the mess. She's drawn to learning how people think, how stories are shaped, and how power moves quietly. These things excite her mind. For her, it's not just fun, it's brain work. It sharpens her thinking and helps her spot patterns that others miss. She listens not to believe blindly, but to see who wins from these stories, why they exist, and what's being repeated. She's not paranoid, she's curious and sharp. While others are comfortable staying in the dark, she notices when something doesn't feel right. Sometimes she won't even say what she thinks. She just watches, quietly, seeing who asks questions and who accepts everything without thought. Her interest in conspiracy theories isn't about being strange. It's about staying aware in a world where most people prefer to stay asleep. And when she's awake, she sees more than anyone expects her to. A Sigma woman isn't trying to be liked by everyone, and honestly, she's okay with being disliked. In fact, when the wrong kind of people don't like her, it tells her she's doing something right. She doesn't walk into a room hoping to win over shallow minds or fake smiles. If a space is full of ego, fake charm, and power games, she expects to be misunderstood, and she's totally fine with that. When someone who's full of pride or loves control gives her a cold stare or calls her too much, she doesn't feel offended. Deep down, she takes it as a sign that she's staying true to herself. She knows that trying to be liked by everyone usually means you're pretending to be someone you're not. That's not who she is. She won't tone herself down just to blend in or make others feel comfortable. She's not impressed by fancy titles or flashy attitudes if the person behind them feels empty. She won't fake a laugh or agree just to avoid conflict. What you see is what you get. In a world where fake is often rewarded, being real makes her stand out, and sometimes it makes her a target. But she'd rather be disliked for being honest than loved for pretending. She understands the quiet strength in being disliked by the ones who thrive on manipulation or insecurity. Their discomfort around her isn't her problem, it's proof she's not playing their game. And that makes her powerful, calm, certain, and unshakably grounded. A Sigma woman doesn't need a lot of talk to understand someone. She can figure out more by sitting in silence than most people can by asking a bunch of questions. She observes, she listens, she watches. While others are focused on what's being said, she's tuned in to what's not being said. She notices the tiny changes, how someone's voice shifts when they're lying, how they search for approval or avoid eye contact. She picks up on nervous habits, shaky laughs, and mismatched stories. She doesn't do this to judge. She does it to understand. She's not quick to react or speak. She gives people space, and in that quiet space, people often reveal more than they realize. While others are busy trying to figure things out, she's already forming a quiet understanding. Not based on who people pretend to be, but who they really are. She doesn't need to ask hard questions. She lets people show her the truth simply by giving them the room to do so. Because words can lie, but energy doesn't. And she sees it all. People often misunderstand her quiet nature. They think she doesn't care. But the truth is, she feels everything, and she feels it deeply. She just doesn't show it on the surface. She could be sitting across from someone who broke her heart, and you wouldn't see any emotion on her face. Her voice would be steady, her body calm. That's not because she's cold, it's because she's in control. She doesn't see power in yelling or crying in front of others. Her strength is in staying composed, even when her heart is hurting. She doesn't fake anything. She just chooses when and where to process her feelings. And it's never in front of people who won't understand. People may think she's unbothered, but they have no idea what she's been through. She's walked through emotional storms and come out stronger, not because she didn't feel pain, but because she learned how to hold it, face it, and heal from it in her own way. Her silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. She reacts when she decides, not when others expect her to, and when she finally acts, it's with purpose, not pain. Most people feel the need to explain themselves when they say no. They'll write long messages, give soft excuses, or try to make others feel okay with their choice. But a Sigma female, she says no, and leaves it there. Not out of rudeness, out of clarity. You see, she's done explaining her boundaries to people who never respected them in the first place. She knows that a real no doesn't need decoration. If it's not a yes in her soul, it's a full stop. She doesn't owe anyone a reason for protecting her time, her peace, or her space. And if that feels cold to someone, that's a reflection, not of her heart, but of their entitlement. Because here's the truth. Every time she used to over-explain herself, she drained energy trying to make others comfortable with her decisions. But now she just honors what feels right. And if that means turning something down without a paragraph of justifications, so be it. Her no isn't an attack, it's a decision. And she's learned that the people who really respect her won't need an explanation. They'll feel the honesty in her silence. A Sigma female can love deeply, more deeply than most realize. But she doesn't believe love is about possession. She doesn't need constant updates, reassurance, or ownership to feel close to someone. She loves in freedom. That means she gives people room to be who they are, not who she wants them to be. She doesn't cling. She doesn't chase. She doesn't confuse love with control. If she's in your life, it's because she chooses to be, not because she needs you to fill a hole in her world. And that kind of love, it's rare, it's secure, it doesn't come with chains. She doesn't measure love by how often you talk or how many selfies you take together. She measures it by honesty, safety, and depth. And if someone can't give her that, she lets them go without hate. Because for her, real love isn't about holding on tight. It's about being seen, being free, and still choosing each other day after day without fear. Let's tell the truth. Being a Sigma woman isn't some trendy label. It's a whole way of living that most people won't ever get. And that's okay. You're drawn to things most people avoid. You find strength in quiet moments. You question things that others accept without a second thought. You want depth, not attention. While others are loud, you stay still. While they chase approval, you keep walking your own path, calm, focused, and clear about who you are. If that makes you hard to understand, or too much for some, then so be it. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to stand out, silently, powerfully, and truthfully. That calm confidence you carry, that's your strength. Not everyone will see it, but the ones who matter will feel it, even if they can't explain it. So if you ever feel out of place, don't change, don't shrink. That feeling isn't wrong, it's a sign that you're staying true to yourself. Keep loving the quiet things. Keep walking your path. Keep being rare, because rare always shakes up the ordinary. You're not here to be easily understood. You're here to be real. Always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Click on the videos on screen to learn more. Until next time.